Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of all ages, welcome back to another Star Citizen informational report on information. Okay, so today I'm going to bring you the second day of the anniversary sale manufacturer spotlight, which is going to be Aegis. Now, Aegis has a bunch of different ships, all of which have their pros and cons, some of which are better than others. And we're going to start with the Renegade. Now, the Avenger Stalker, as you can see, is almost always available, so you'll be able to get that one as is. So let's start with the Titan Renegade. Created as part of the Masters of Flight series in conjunction with the Flight Sim Arena Commander, the Renegade pays tribute to famed pilot Danny Solomon for his notable work with the advocacy to bring justice to Bremen. This Avenger Titan comes equipped with a specialized dogfighting-focused loadout and a custom special edition livery honoring this iconic ship. So, if you saw in the previous day's video, the livery is just the outside skin or paint that is on the vehicle. So aside from that, this is basically just a regular Avenger Titan with a different skin and a different loadout. Now the weapons that this comes with, it's got the Tiger Strike Gatling in the front, just like all the other Titans. And then this comes with two 9 Series Longsword ballistic cannons. So this is definitely a ballistic loadout Titan, and it's actually not too shabby. I have one of these, and again, the only difference is the externals. So the Renegade, it does have a small portion in the back where you can store small amounts of cargo. So I think the Titan is actually a great all-around ship. If you're looking to get a Renegade, it'll be $75. You could also save yourself a couple extra dollars, actually, if you went with the base Avenger Titan, as, again, exact same ship, basically, except for the loadout and the paint. So the Renegade is meh. Then there's the Gladius, but again, that's for sale almost all year round. Now we come to the Gladius Valiant. So again, comparing to the regular Gladius, not much difference from the paint. This does come without the front Gatling, and in its place you get a Badger repeater, which is gimbaled. So Gladius Valiant, created as part of the Masters of Flight series in conjunction with the Flight Sim Arena Commander, Valiant pays tribute to famed defense pilot Condi Hillard for being the first human on record to defeat a Vandal in combat. This Gladius comes equipped with a specialized dogfighting-focused loadout and a custom special edition livery honoring her iconic ship. So again, only difference between this Gladius and the base regular Gladius is this does not have the front turret, and in its place is a gimbaled Badger and the paint. It's just a little bit brighter and has kind of that orange accent on the paint. I actually think the Gladius Valiant has larger missiles. I'm pretty sure it has size 3s. So I take it back. That's the only other addition. So that is actually pretty decent. But again, you miss out on having the built-in Gatling gun. But if you're planning on going as an energy loadout for this ship, well then perhaps the Valiant might be something you want to look into. The Gladius Valiant, I believe, is $110. Yes. Gladius Valiant is $110. So about $20 more than the regular Gladius. Next we have the Redeemer. Now, the Redeemer is a bit of a contentious ship. There's a lot of debate and a lot of controversy about that, and I'll get into that momentarily. The Redeemer. Now you can own the next great starship. Designed by Star Citizens backers, the Aegis Redeemer is a powerful fighting ship capable of holding its own in combat with a powerful weapons payload. Dotted with turrets and missiles, the Redeemer also doubles as an armored landing craft capable of delivering armed soldiers for first-person combat. Now, the Redeemer. As the first line in the description goes, this was a ship that was designed by Star Citizen backers. Now, by that, they had a competition called the Next Great Starship, which took something like a dozen teams of fans, and they basically built different ships. It was kind of like an America's Got Talent, but for ships. They'd be like, oh, design a good weapon, design this, da 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 da. And eventually they got down to the Redeemer as being the winner. Now, is it a gunship? Is it a dropship? Is it an amalgamation of both? Yes. One of the biggest things that was a conversation starter, let's say, would be the way the engines are, where they're kind of like a nutcracker right here, and they would open up and close depending on the variations of your speed. Some people loved it, some people hated it, but we can't get around the fact that it won. I, for one, kind of think it's interesting. And you see here's a view of the engine while it's slightly open, while this one, as you can see, is it's closed because it's in the landing position. So this is going to be a while before it comes in game. This was finished, I want to say, back in like 2014, 2015 or something like that, maybe even earlier, and it's still not in game. It was recently taken off the permanent availability in the store because they're reworking it. No word as to whether it's officially being worked on as of right now, but it will be a while before it comes. If you're looking for a dropship gunship that you want to use currently, we'll get to that shortly. I do have a Redeemer, as I still like the way that this looks. I hope they don't mess with it too much. The Redeemer, I believe, is $250. Yep, Redeemer. So if you wanted to get yourself a Redeemer with 5 years insurance, the 25th is your day. Javelin. Now, not many people are going to be able to get a Javelin. There are some prerequisites that you need to go through to get this. If you have gone through those prerequisites, then this is a ship that does not need explaining. So I'm not going to go into that one. The Saber Raven. Another special circumstance ship. If you did not buy the Intel drives and get one of these, you aren't getting one. So since this ship will not be available during the anniversary sale, I shall skip this one as well. The Eclipse. So the Eclipse. The Aegis Eclipse is a bomber designed to get in and strike before it's ever even spotted. After extensive service with the UEE, this high-tech military equipment is making its debut on the civilian market for $29.47. So the Eclipse is going to be more of like a stealth bomber, larger than the Gladiator, from my understanding, but not as fight capable. From my understanding, this is just going to have 2 size 2 weapons. So completely defense in terms of fighting, but it's going to have, I think, size 9 torpedoes. I think. Let's verify that. So when this ship's concept first came out, they did like this whole top secret thing about it, and it actually really had my interest. This was one of the only pictures that they showed of it, so I was like, dude, that's an aggressive looking stance there. I like that. Here's a look of the cockpit, which is really pretty. And this, it looks like, is the Eclipse taking on an Idris. So that should go to show you, I mean, these torpedoes are going to pack a punch. These are capital killing armaments. Again, you know, it's like a stealth bomber designed to get in under the radar, hit hard, hit fast, and get out of there. So yeah, torpedoes, size 9, and it's got 3. So compare that to the Gladiator, which has 4 size 5s. Again, much smaller ship, meant to go after smaller ships. I don't think you'd want to send a Gladiator against an Idris. That seems like it would be suicide. You might be able to put a little pain on the Idris with size 5s if you launched all 4. All 4 hit. Probably wouldn't be a great day for the ship, but it wouldn't be the last either. The Eclipse, I believe, is also around 2... Oh, where is the Eclipse? I thought it was like around 250-ish. And, oh, because it's on my ships. I was going to say. 275. Okay, so the Eclipse is 275. So, if the Eclipse sounds like something that you'd like, 25th is your day. So now we get on to the first specific dropship, the Vanguard Hoplite. The Vanguard Hoplite is a cross between the winning Vanguard Deep Space Fighter and a dedicated boarding ship. Adapting the reliable design for amphibious operations, the Hoplite is the perfect tool for inserting an armored strike team with enough firepower to get them out again. Now, first thing I want to say about the Vanguard Hoplite, the BUKs, the Bucks, the battlefield upgrade kits do not apply. That caused a huge hullabaloo when that was first announced, as, you know, considering it had the word Vanguard in it, that it would be able to accept the Vanguard battlefield upgrade kits. And the kicker is, on the Vanguard Hoplite, it has the doors where these upgrade kits are supposed to slot into. So some people were really upset and were like, what the hell? The things are right there. Why aren't you able to taking them? So first and foremost, I want to say that. If you wanted to do something like where you can with the original Vanguard series with the 3, where you can get, you know, a Vanguard Warden and get an old BUK, pop it in, now it's a Sentinel, it does not work with the Hoplite. So you buy a Hoplite, it's a Hoplite forever, unless you CCU it or melt it. So the Hoplite is actually the loaner for the Redeemer, and I gotta say I'm not really that happy with it. It has one size 5 mount with a gimbal, so you have a size 4 Apocalypse Arms Gatling on it, but you've got 4 forward-facing lasers, size 2s, and there's nothing you can do with them. They're the only weapons that go in the slots. They can only shoot forward. You can't gimbal them. You can't swap them out for anything. So short of swapping out the Gatling gun for another laser weapon to have your pips the same, it can kind of be a headache, and I really don't like the fact that those weapons are like that. I know some people are going to say, "Oh, well, that's the whole point," you know, but I disagree. Especially with the way that they are, I think they could have gone about it way better. They should have spread the weapons out on the wings, or at least spread them out a little bit more and made them something that you could interchange, because only having those weak-ass forward-facing, slow-firing lasers, I feel, is a detriment. I think it could have been done a lot better. Failure to report did a video on it, and I think he speaks volumes and makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm not even going to go into it, but if you're looking for a Warden, if you're looking for a Vanguard, I would not suggest a Hoplite. Not with the other ones that are out there. And the Hoplite, let's see how much that one is. The Hoplite There's no way. Harbinger, Bomber, Sentinel, Warden, Hoplite, 225. For 225, you're better off spending the extra 25 going the Vanguard Warden, so you have the ability to jump in between the other three variants. The Hoplite, I feel like you are doing a disservice. In all honesty, I'm not a fan of the Hoplite. So speaking of, we go right to the Warden, which is classified as a heavy fighter. So, Vanguard Warden, hard-charging bulldog of a fighter, which features extensive forward-mounting weaponry designed to tear through the shields and armor of other spacecraft. So named because their multiple jump range allows them to form the vanguard of any military expedition. Vanguards have seen extensive service against the Vanduul. So, not far off with the thing I was saying previously. So there's the 4 forward-facing weapons that are static. You can't change those out. And then I believe it's also a size 5 mount. Yep. With a size 4 Revenant. Sorry, not Apocalypse Arms. Revenant ballistic Gatling installed. So that's gimbaled. But then you have these bearing. They're basically the M4As. Basically 4 M4As, but they seem like they're way less powerful, stitched on. And again, I feel like they're more of a detriment. They kind of don't help. I rarely ever see myself using them unless I have a like M7A or an M6A. So that way at least all the pips go in the same place, and I fly static, non-gimbaled, forward-facing, whatever you want to call it, on the weapon I can add. On the turret, you get 2 Sawbuck ballistic repeaters. The Sawbuck definitely needs to be buffed. It's definitely a weak Gatling for what it is. Again, though, the Warden does have the ability to accept the battlefield upgrade kits, those bucks. So if you were looking for something of a dropship, there's literally basically no difference. Only difference really is the Hoplite has like 5 or 6 chairs in it. But if you're really going to be doing an operation like that, more than likely those people are going to be standing anyway so they can get in and out. And the other ironic thing is on the Warden, the ramp goes down faster than it does on the Hoplite. The Hoplite, it's really slow. So like for a troop transport, you'd want a fast-moving ramp. Nope, not on the Hoplite, which is specifically designed for that. So again, I would suggest the Warden for your dropship needs. Next, so the Idris-M, I'm pretty sure you cannot get. The Idris-M was only first, or was first sold during the very, very, very early days of the Kickstarter. It was the $1,000 pledge. They have not sold it since, from my understanding, unless you get a particular pack. I think it's the Armada pack, which is like also like around $2,000 or so, I think. I don't know. I haven't seen the Armada pack personally. I just know of it through legends. But the M is basically, you got to spend a lot of money to even get the chance to get an M, much like the Javelin. The Idris-P you're more likely to get. So let's go over the Idris-P. A Mark II Peacekeeper variant developed by the UEE Patrol Services, the Idris-P strips the standard ship's ship-to-ship gun and spinal mount in favor for additional cargo capacity and superior speed. So right off the rip, you are missing the spinal mount that has the really big turret on there, as well as the oh shit, what's it called? It's on the tip. Railgun. Fuck. As well as the railgun. You miss out on the railgun and the spinal turret, which gives you a really big, turret. It's also a little bit faster. The P doesn't have as much armor, so it can move a little bit more. It has a little bit more agility, but again, with that, it's not as combat effective. From my understanding, however, the Idris-P if you have one, will be upgradable to the Idris-M. So no real solid information on how that would be attainable. However, I would have to venture out on a limb and say that you would more or less be able to buy the missing pieces to reinstall the railgun, reinstall the spinal mount, and add in whatever other military spec parts it would require, and now you got yourself an Idris-M. If you're looking to get an M and you can't afford one right off the bat, if they're not, or if they don't sell it, get yourself an Idris-P, and you'll be able to upgrade it later. Now, keep in mind though, the Idris is a limited ship, so if you plan on getting an Idris, you better be there at the moment this sale starts, because those are going to sell out fast. Also, there are not going to be CCUs to the Idris. I can say that with almost 100% certainty, like 99.998% certainty that there are no CCUs to the Idris. You got like, this is like the be all end all of frigates, or I mean, sorry, of shipping ships, like cargo. I mean, this thing is absolutely massive. And this is like the be all end all of shipping. Like, it's insane. I would love to get me an Idris-M, but my god. Like, look, the weapons itself aren't even filled out completely yet, but a bunch of them, it looks like you're going to have those Revenant ballistic Gatlings. And look at this, a 557 laser repeater. So that's 2 sizes above the Panther, at least. That I'd be interested to see. That could be a hell of a gun. God, I want an Idris. Shameless plug, I do have a Patreon. So if all of you guys pitch in and I get enough, I'll buy an Idris and we can all play on it. I'll make an org. I'm already making an org. I know some of you are interested in that. And I do believe there's going to be a way to allow people to take out ships that are in your org. So if I do happen to get enough to get an Idris and you're in my org, I'm going to give ownership of that to the org. So if you get on, you'll be able to spawn it. I'm just saying, if you want that to happen, just go on Patreon, just throw a few bucks my way. You know, if everybody threw like 10 or 20 bucks, we'd have it. So just keep that in mind. You know, I'm not saying that you have to. That's not like that. I'm not going to beg you for money. Just going to say, if that sounds like an enticing idea, just throw a few bucks in there. You know, what's it going to do? What, you know, at the most, you're going to get a ticket to be able to go on an Idris whenever you want, and not have to worry about upkeep or costs or all that other crap, or have to pay over $1,000 to get it. So I leave that decision in your hands, because I think that would be pretty neat. Next up is one of my most favorite ships, and that's the Reclaimer. In fact, if you couldn't tell, it's, you know, my background. I've got the video, and oh, my icons got fucked up. Great. Anywho, so the Reclaimer. The Aegis Reclaimer is an industrial salvage ship equipped with a reinforced cargo bay, a long-range jump drive, and launch pods for unmanned drones. The Reclaimer is an ideal ship for taking advantage of deep space wrecks. Tractor beams, floodlights, scanner options, and docking ports round out the tools on this capable, utilitarian spacecraft. The listed cargo capacity is only for the dedicated cargo room and does not account for the salvaged material capacity, which will be detailed later. Now, right off the bat, this thing is fucking cool. This right here, first time I saw this picture, I fell in love. Like, this thing, oh, it gives me such like an Aliens feel. I mean, like, look at that, like Aliens, you know, like mixed with like the Borg or something like that. I mean, this thing is just gritty and dirty and big, and you know, like this, and plus that front claw for you to pick shit up and like feed it in. Oh my god, it has my name written all over it. And then it's got this big part in the back here for like where all the demolition goes. It got like all the gears and the compactor and all that. This thing almost kind of looks like a bug or like a spider. Like this is the rear part where the web would be, you know, where all the action happens in terms of demolishing the ships. Here's some more blueprints on it. I hope they've got the updated pictures here, because the updated pictures are gorgeous. And if not, I'll give you a sneak peek, because the ship is amazing. And it doesn't. Alright. Go to subscribers. Right here. So this... I can't make it bigger. Alright. Well, anyway. Some of the interiors of the finished reclaimer. Oh my god. I mean, just look at that. I cannot wait. If you didn't hear, the reclaimer currently is in the internal dev build. It is flying. It is meandering about in 3.0. By the grace of God, it'll make it in, and I will be the happiest motherfucker. In fact, the very first day 3.0 comes, I'm going to have a 3.0 extravaganza where we will all be playing. I'm going to be on there for quite a long time, just taking in everything. And you bet your bottom dollar, if the reclaimer is in there, I'm going to explode. The reclaimer is $350, last I knew. So if you're looking to get a reclaimer, you got a bit of change you got to pledge up. But given what this thing is, I mean, how could you not? So it's got some man turrets with, look again, that size 5 Panther repeater. I know it's not a Panther, but just saying. And then the size 3s on the remote turret. I mean, like more Panthers, utility item, tractor beam, and then the salvage arm. That's going to be so cool. I can't wait to use that. This is going to be amazing. Again, I am beyond stoked. To my understanding, this will have drones that you can send out and scavenge and get information. And I mean, this is the ship, in my opinion. Plus, you know, flying around the fringes of space where there's a lot of battles and whatnot, you'll be able to make a quick buck just picking up the corpses of all the ships. Next, we get to the Retaliator. The AEGIS Dynamics Retaliator has landed, one of the United Empire of Earth's most powerful warbirds. The Retaliator was designed as a fearsome weapons platform designed to strike and kill capital ships. A key portion of the UEE's power projection, Retaliator squadrons have served with distinction against outlaws, the Vandal, and elsewhere. This version of the Retaliator includes the bomb bay and torpedo launcher. Now, when the Retaliator was first announced, the heavy bomber was the only version. They later came out with the Retaliator base, which was without the launchers and the torpedo bay, but you'd be able to buy different modules to place in there. So you get like a living module, a cargo module, and I want to say there was at least one more, possibly two, not counting the bomb bays. I actually had a Retaliator heavy bomber, but I CCU'd that to a regular Caterpillar because I really liked the Caterpillar, and in my opinion, it was way more useful. The Retaliator sounds like an awesome ship, and it looks like an awesome ship, but in my opinion, it's not that awesome of a ship, and I'll tell you why. Now, first, just know this thing has a bunch of size 9 torpedoes. 2 per rack, 2 racks, that's 4, and I think it has 2 more. Yep. 1 per rack and 2. So this thing has 6 size 9 torpedoes. So again, this thing is built to take down Idris, javelins, things of that nature. Polaris, take them down and take them down quick. But the only problem, okay, there are no pilot weapons. So when you're the pilot, all you're doing is flying and launching torpedoes. You have to rely on your 5 or so crew members in turrets to watch your back. I'm hoping with 3.0 and the better turret experience that that'll actually be fun and worth a damn. But I've noticed having to rely on your turret gunners in a tally spells destruction more often than not. There were quite a few times where I had full turrets. I had 5 people, not counting myself, and we were just getting shot down left and right. And that's what made me CCU it, because at least with the Caterpillar that it turned into, I have pilot weapons. I can now at least take down an Aurora. Not to mention the 2 dual size 4 turrets. If all I need is 2 people, really all I need is 1 extra, and that dual size 4 turret will handle out damage a lot better than those size 2 turrets, the dual size 2 weapons. So if you are, for me personally, this isn't that great of a ship. It looks nice. I can't knock it there. I like that it's got like that stealth ship, and it's big. This ship is surprisingly big. It is long, and that's what's so sad, is this thing is gorgeous. I love it. Like, it is sexy, but it is just, in my opinion, not functional. Form over function is what this ship seems like to me. If the pilot had control of just one of those turrets, just one, 2 would have been better, but even if you could just control one, I probably would have stuck with the Retaliator. I wouldn't have CCU'd it, because it really is that nice of a ship. Unless you have ace turret gunners, like where they are just taking down everything, you go out in the tally, you might have a hard ass time. And like, not hard as in, oh, that was challenging and fun. Hard as in, I mean, you're getting taken down by Auroras. No bullshit. And this one I think is 290. 275. Okay, so the Retaliator bomber, heavy bomber, 275. The base is 150. So yeah, it could have been so much better. Vanguard Harbinger. The Vanguard Harbinger is Earth's standard fighter bomber, converting the standard Warden model's escape pod into a potent bomb bay. The extended range of the Vanguard and the relatively small profile mean that it can go where carrier-based planes or larger strategic bombers don't, and then strike hard and make it back to frontier bases. The Vanguard Harbinger is a powerful bomber that can operate out of the roughest forward operating bases. Now, the Harbinger is basically the bomber version of the Vanguard. So this thing, I believe, has, I think, also size 5 torps. Let me see. Size 5, yep. So it's got 3 size 5s and 4 size 4 missiles. So this is almost like a larger variant of the Gladiator, but if I'm not mistaken, I do believe it has the exact same. Oh, it's on the manned turret, instead of sawbucks, it's actually dumbfire rocket pods, a la the Mustang Delta. That's the other thing different. But it looks like it does have another size 5 gimbal to size 4, possibly Revenant ballistic, with looks like 2. So maybe the weapons are going to be different on this one. I doubt it though. I think because that looks very similar. There's the 4 weapons I was talking about, and then the gimbal from size 5 to 4. Apocalypse Arms or Revenant or whatever the fuck it is. So this is basically the bomber variant. The only difference between, you can and that internal part is where the battlefield upgrade kit slots into. So on the Warden, you would basically just be putting in this bomb bay, and the turret would be swapping out for the rocket pods. From there, we go to the Sentinel. Harbinger. Harbinger's 280. So the Vanguard Sentinel. Vanguard Sentinel is a ship designed to fight smart instead of taking enemies head-on. The conversion features an AR cockpit, an external E-War pod, decoy missiles, and a set of EMP charges. Vanguard Sentinels often provide necessary combat support for combined operations. A lone Sentinel assigned wild weasel tasks is frequently paired with Harbinger bombers and Warden escorts for large attack missions. So basically what this does, if you had a battlefield upgrade kit and a Warden, it would slot in, and you would basically just be getting this interior area. Looks like there's beds on one side, and then there's the electronic warfare portion on the other. So this is an EMP generator, and it's got EMP missiles, if I read that correctly, decoy missiles. This is the electronic warfare version of the Vanguard. Now, the Sentinel is 265. So depending on how this gameplay is going to be fleshed out, here's the electronic area again. And there's the escape pod that's turned into the EMP generator, if I recall correctly. So basically, this is going to be kind of like a more powerful Avenger Warlock. Again, this isn't out yet, so there's not, I haven't gotten my hands on it. Not a whole lot of information out there, but it's the electronic warfare version, 265. Now we're going on to the Saber. The Saber is definitely one of my favorite fighters. Part of AEGIS Dynamics Phase 2 of new ship models, the Saber was designed as a space superiority fighter for those situations where you need to leave a lighter footprint. Designed to be a rapid responder, the Saber is more than capable of establishing battlefield dominance over any number of combat scenarios. And the cool thing about the Saber is it is like a stealth fighter aircraft. It's got those real nice sleek lines, has that nice aggressive stance, dual engines. I love the Saber. This is definitely one of my favorite ships out there. And so by stock, it's got 2 Panthers, 2 size 3s, and 2 Badgers, 2 size 2s on the front, which are gimbaled. With mine, as you might have seen in some of my earlier videos, the which is better, larger or more, I turned my Saber into a Super Saber by slapping 4 85X turrets onto onto each mount, one on each mount, and attached 2 size 1 Bulldogs. So I had 8 Bulldog repeaters firing off on this thing, and it was pretty rad, not gonna lie. With 3.0 fast approaching, though, it seems they've put in restrictions to where I will not be able to do that going forward, which is sad. I like my Super Saber, but as a dogfighter, the Saber is a damn respectable choice. It's a damn good choice. Saber's really fast, very maneuverable, and again, I mean, the thing is just fucking sexy. I mean, come on. Um, it's beautiful. There's really not much else to say. So 2 Panther and 2 Badger, which are gimbaled. And I mean, the thing just kicks ass. There's really not much more to say about it. The Saber is $170, and it is money well spent. Now, if you notice, it is quite close to the Super Hornet, and the reason being is, they're both very capable fighters. If you're choosing between this, the Super Hornet, or the Saber, that would be a hard choice. For me personally, having and flying both, I wouldn't be able to settle on just one, because the Saber has a much nicer look about it, but I feel like the Super Hornet can take more damage and output more damage. So, I mean, if push comes to shove, for tactical reasons, I'd probably go with the Hornet, but for like aesthetics, if that meant more, then the Saber. But I would say the Super Hornet has like the slight, like 1% higher in terms of favorability. 1%. The Saber is a great choice. Either way. Retaliator base. So refer back to the Retaliator bomber. Only difference is this doesn't have those heavy torpedo bays. So you get this, and those areas are potentially empty. You'd have to buy the bays, or buy the living compartments, or buy the cargo modules. So again, everything else is the same. No pilot weapons. You have to rely on your turret gunners. So moving on. The Avenger Warlock. The Avenger Warlock was built towards a single design philosophy. Stop ships, don't destroy them. Probably the closest to a non-lethal fighter, the Warlock is outfitted with a Bearing REP-8 EMP generator capable of emitting a powerful electromagnetic wave to disable any electronics unfortunate enough to be within the blast radius, which is approximately 300 meters. This is the standard Avenger chassis with the Warlock EMP module pre-installed. So, excuse me. Again, this is basically an Avenger Titan, except you do not have a back area for cargo. That area is taken up completely by the EMP generator. Now, you might be able to store some things in there unsafely, which will be rattling around, and, if you do engage the EMP, if it's electronic, it's going to be destroyed. But the neat thing is, with this Avenger, instead of entering through the rear cargo, you actually enter through the front. There's actually little steps in the front, keels up like a regular jet fighter type. You get in, it comes down around you, bing bang boom, you're done. For its weapons loadout, it's got the Tiger Strike. Is that it? Tiger Strike? Yep, Tiger Strike Ballistic Gatling, just like all the other Avengers. But this has the Sucker Punch Distortion Cannons. Now, if you've seen my earlier videos, you would know the Sucker Punch Distortion Cannons don't do damage. These literally just take down shields. But, hopefully in 3.0, these will have distortion damage, which will shut down a ship, temporarily disabling it without doing any actual damage. The EMP is actually set on your alternate alternate fire. So when you press right click, the EMP starts charging up. Once it hits 100, you'll see this big ball of energy encapsulating your hull. When you initiate it, it engages in anything, like I said, within about 300 meters of you. If it incurs the EMP blast, it shuts off. So it is great for interdiction, for shutting people down, for trolling a little bit. But you didn't hear that from me. I love the Warlock. I have a Warlock, and I specifically sought one out a while ago with LTI because I foresee EMPs having a very valuable use, especially if you're in the bounty hunting, mercenary type work, Or if you want to steal ships, you and a buddy are going out and you disable the ship, you're now able to board and, effectively take it. So the Avenger Warlock, I like, personally. Again, though, has the same durability of a regular Avenger Titan. So it's not super duper durable, but it's also not flimsy. It's a great penguin. Avenger Titan. So again, this one's available almost, if not all the time. Basically, see my comment on the Valiant, or I'm sorry, Renegade. Last but not least, the Saber Comet. Created as part of the Masters of Flight series in conjunction with the Flight Sim Arena Commander, Comet pays tribute to famed pilot Captain Cameron Dalian for his work with Aegis to usher in a new era of combat ship design. This Saber comes equipped with a specialized dogfighting-focused loadout and a custom special edition livery honoring this iconic ship. So to reiterate, livery, paint, ship, or hull, paint, ship skin, whatever word you want to use. Now, this is a pretty-ass ship as well. It's got urban digital camo on it with blue accents, which actually, in my opinion, are really, really good, especially for if you're like in space, because it almost gives it the effect of like a starry area. I think it's actually really decent camouflage. Not saying anything against the base Saber, which has that nice black, red, and gray, but I kind of dig this a little bit more. Now, keeping with the description, this is more geared towards dogfighting, so with that, you actually get two... Oh, wait, what? That's not... Yeah, so you get two Pyro Burst... Oh, that's right. So you get two Pyro Burst Plasma Scatter Guns, which are basically like plasma shotguns in the rear, and I forgot you get two size 2 Sledge 2 mass driver cannons in the front, but I actually swapped those out for Panthers, and I kind of think that's a better loadout. But this is the geared more towards dogfighting, so they gave the Sledge mass drivers. But again, I've had way better luck doing Panthers and Pyro Bursts. I did do a video on that. If you want to go and check, I think that was the Saber Comet, OP, and Arena Commander. And I also did a comparison with the Is Bigger or Better experiment videos, so you can check either one of those out. The Saber Comet is going to be going for... I know it's right around... $185, so about $5 more than the Super Hornet. Again, only difference really between the Saber Comet and the Saber is the paint and the stock weapon loadout. So if you really like that loadout and you think it's worth $15 more, same with the paint, I'd say go for the Comet. If you don't really care that much and you just want yourself a good stealth fighter, I would say just go with the base Saber. It's probably one of the better and more cheap fighters. And by that, I mean, yeah, there's the Gladius, but I'm talking about better. The Gladius for a fighter, I think, is a little flimsy. Saber, Super Hornet, perfecto. So I think I'm going to wrap the video here. This has been the informative report of such, if you will, of November 25th, Aegis' Day during the anniversary sale. If you liked the video, leave a like down below. If you want to see more of these videos, say so down below, so that way I can reinforce that I'm coming up with halfway decent ideas now. If you have suggestions for videos as well, leave those down below. Thank you very much for watching. You beautiful bastards have yourselves a wonderful day. This has been Will. Peace.